Can you hear us, Terry?
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah,
So
go do the pledge.
We'll see how this works, and if there's technical difficulties, I'll turn it over to Candy, but if you could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Candy, why don't you go ahead and lead?
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America,
United States of America.
which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to call the August 3rd special council meeting to order. Yes, we did the Pledge of Allegiance. Jenny, if you could take roll.
Councilmember Thorson?
Here.
Councilmember Peterson?
Here.
Councilmember Wong?
Here.
Councilmember Cole?
Here.
Mayor Furlong?
Here. Motion to adopt the agenda.
Moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilmember Peterson, second by Councilmember Cole. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have just one item on here, and I'll turn it over to City Manager Frandl, talk about the recruitment of the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So the city has requested and received proposals from 3 professional services for firms searching for our open position of city manager. All 3 are highly qualified recruiting firms with extensive experience in searching for the best candidate for the inquiring city. 3 firms submitted proposals, David Drown Associates, Baker Tilly, and Gov H. Looking over the proposals and taking all aspects into consideration, I am recommending David Drown Associates. A couple of the highlights of the different proposals that we got in. David Drown was the cheaper or less expensive of the 3 proposals that came in by as much as $1,500 or $2,500. They also had no limits with on-site visits. One of them did have, they actually charged $500 per visit to come out here. They were from actually even out of state. They actually had the best assurance. So after 2 years, if that employee was to leave or go somewhere else, whether or not he was resigned or let go, they would actually redo the service again only at the costs that we incurred, not their professional costs. Otherwise, the other 2 offered only a 1-year assurance. So, and they've actually done probably more of these over the last 5 years than any other firm. So I think this is a quality firm. I think they'll do a good job for us.
Brian, do you know if anybody's done or who's been done recently in our area from them? Any idea?
Yeah, one example that they attached on here for one was Monticello was an example that they used because they put together a flyer for the cities for advertising for them and going out for the city manager. And the last one that they used for us was the city of Monticello.
Okay.
But
Any
they actually,
questions?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, they actually make sure this was the right one, because several of them turned it in, and they actually gave long lists of the different cities. Yes, so for administrators, they've done New Prague, LeSueur, Prairie Lakes, City of Anthony Village, and the list goes on and on. They've done many.
Good. Any questions for Brian?
Thank you, Interim City Manager, for providing your recommendation. Can you share a little bit about the additional criteria in which you use to choose this firm?
So, well, for starters, we were given 4 different firms to look at. We sent out 4 requests for proposals. 3 were received back. And just going over these, I guess the highlights are the ones I had mentioned. Their total price was $21,000. The next one was 22.5, and then the next one above that was 23.5. So it was a bit of savings. Actually, even just going out there and asking for the quote, they were the first one to come back and give us the quotes. I mean, they were very responsive to what we were looking for, but just going over their packet, they just got the best overall, I think, services that we can get for this service.
You also share a little bit about the timeline in which the other firms proposed. I think that was something we were looking at is kind of moving that process along as fast as possible. So just curious on what that is.
They were pretty close in time, all of them together. As it was laid out, they will first off meet with city council to find out the needs and what you guys are looking for in your next city manager, what kind of professional background they've had. Did you want me to go through all of those steps, get down, because then it brings us up to about December 1st. They're hoping to have somebody on board at the latest. They were pretty good about staying strict to their timelines and making sure that that happens. So we're looking at probably another 3.5 months, probably.
That's sufficient. Thank you.
Any other questions for Brian? I can't see anybody, so if there, Candy, if there's nobody else? Nobody else? Okay, so the motion is to approve David Drown Associates as the firm to look at for the new city manager. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Thorson. Second by Councilmember Peterson. Any other discussion? If not, all those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brian, for doing that. As we move forward, it looks like December 1st, we're going to be shooting for that timeline. Any other questions for Brian? If not, thank you, Brian, again for putting that all together. And I guess motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Thorson.
May I add something?
Yep, go
I
ahead.
think, something really quick to discuss in terms of the Delta variant. It's surging again also in our state, particularly with unvaccinated populations. But just for us to have a clear policy for the public and their expectations, I think we should probably revisit that or look into some of those guidelines for public safety and public health.
I think City Manager Frandl, if you can possibly look into those for our next meeting and kind of work with the council on that.
Absolutely. Up till now, we've been following CDC guidelines for the most part. Their recent change, we're in a higher, not the top risk category, but we're in a higher risk category where they're actually requesting indoor meetings and indoor gatherings to use the mask while they're indoors. I've actually had a commission member inquire about that since they are also meeting in the council chambers of what our policy is, which that'll happen between now and the time the next council meeting is. I just didn't know if you guys had any kind of feedback of where you want the city to be and policies to follow.
I think, again, as we move forward, this changes. Again, like every day, every week, I think working with the council up into, maybe a week before the council meeting. I know Councilmember Wong, if you have any other insights in regards to that, if you're okay with that, working with Brian and seeing where we are just about a week before the council meeting.
Yeah, I can work on that with him, and we'll look into the CDC guidance, which at this moment is indoor masking regardless of vaccination status in substantial or high incidences. So that's where Ramsey County sits at this moment. But
Okay.
we'll work on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So we do have a motion. We do have we have the motion. Do we have a second? I don't know if I have a second. I got Councilmember Thorson with the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Cole. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.